Oh, man, here we go. Starting off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ExarArcian. This is going to be a offshoot of ExarArcian. This is geek stuff.
Yes.
Or nerd stuff. Well, haven't quite decided. What did we decide on? Nerd?
I think it was nerd stuff.
Yes, nerd stuff.
Nerd stuff.
Nerd stuff. So this is like the first one. So I guess introductions are needed. I'll go ahead and start off since I'm kind of hosting.
You do that.
Hi, this is ECW James. I'm sure you've seen my profile over there pointing in a direction, which is sad because you can't see where I'm pointing.
Way to go.
Habits. I know. So pro as heck. And on the line with me is one. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. I'm Richie. You may know me as ExarArcian. I do YouTube stuff on that. I'm pointing at my computer.
Adaptation right there.
Yeah, see? Okay, right there. Yeah, okay, good. Excellent. And, yeah, that's probably where you know me from, if you know me.
I'm sure some people know you.
Yeah, maybe.
Considering the majority of your audience is in this call right now.
Hey!
Oh! Low blow! I'm sorry, I take that back.
Just shoot me.
In case you couldn't tell, me and Richie, we've known each other for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Which is weird because we've never actually met.
No. About 3,000 miles difference.
Roughly, yeah. We got the
there.
East Coast, West Coast connection going on here.
East Side.
East Side, West Side! Yeah, we're not going to get that started.
No, let's not.
Yeah, we've known each other for quite a few years.
Yeah, probably I want to say around 5-ish. Not sure we've been talking regularly that whole time, but we've known each other for at least 5-ish years.
Known of each other.
Yeah. Probably been talking regularly for 2 or 3.
About 3 years now.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Seems like.
Oh, by the way, totally okay to cuss.
Yeah, I was kind of fucking hoping. Otherwise, why would you even have me here?
Especially since you've been up all night.
Yeah, like, you don't tell me that after we've started. I could have already been swearing up a storm.
And he does swear, folks, let me tell you.
I do. It happens. Fuck.
Well, like a drunken New Englander. That was perfect right there.
And, hey, I'm not drunk.
No, he's actually sober. It's just lack of sleep.
Pretty much. A complete 180 on the sleep schedule. It's going great.
God, that happens. Works so hard to get it on a regular schedule, and then one night...
Ironically, this is more closer to the schedule I want, waking up in the morning and then going to bed at night, like a normal human being. I just woke up at 2 a.m., so not quite at the right morning aspect yet.
Hey, at least this way you can probably make it to 8 o'clock and crash out.
That's kind of my hope. We'll see. 8 o'clock's 5 hours away. Hey,
it's only 5 hours.
Only 5 hours, he said.
Only 5 hours, yes.
I've been pumping the caffeine to me since noon.
When aren't you drinking caffeine?
Well, pumping it to me, like, a lot of it. Look, don't judge me. Oh, we may have lost you. He's got a shitty-ass mic.
Yes, I do. It's like the...
You're still here. Don't worry.
I'm looking at it and the light just pops on. It's like, yeah, first podcast, eh? Yeah.
Fuck you.
So, that was tell them how we met.
We met through an online role-playing site for Marvel Comics characters.
Yes.
Just get it out. Just get it out.
It's going to be a podcast, folks.
We said it was nerd stuff. If you were...
We weren't kidding.
No. It's all out on the table now.
Just, here's our nerd cards.
You see them. Fucking
see them.
Royal flush of nerds.
Look at them.
Don't look away.
And yeah, we met there. I guess we should explain to them. So basically, Marvels is a turn-based, text-based role-playing board. Explain to them how that works.
All right. So here's the basics. You have a character. Maybe it's your own. Maybe it's a canon one. You write that character as if you were that character. And then when you're done writing, somebody else responds to you. And then you take turns going back and forth. You write a story. It's communal. Boom. If you need me to define what role-playing is, like, more than that, go. Just leave. You don't belong here, clearly. Go play Halo or something with your drunken frat buddies and talk about how cool you are.
You were so late.
You totally would have made it and played football if it weren't for that one bad game and your bad knee. We understand.
It's always a bad knee.
It's always a bad knee.
Always.
You used to be a football player before you took an arrow to the knee.
Ha! Oh, God, I finally found out what that meant.
Did you seriously not know what that meant?
No, I knew where it was from, but I never understood the context, because, that was the phrase that kept popping up in that fucking game.
Right.
But I actually looked it up. Apparently, it's an old Swedish slang term for back, during the Norse days, for marriage.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's awesome. So their ball and chain was an arrow to the knee, huh?
So yeah, it's like, well, I'd love to go raid the, that village over there with you guys, but arrow to the knee.
That's awesome.
Oh man! All right, so our subject today. Subject. Yes, we're doing pro. I'm telling you, man, pro as heck.
I'm gonna go sit on a building and shoot people in the head.
No.
That's how you know how somebody's pro. Oh, you fell off again. You fell off the internet.
There we go.
So pro.
Can't you tell?
Somebody shot.
Someday I'll actually get a real microphone.
Someday.
Just not today. But anyway, pro. That's more your channel.
Fair enough. I'll take it.
But no, today we're going to be going over the whole writing aspect of the role playing that we do.
Yes.
Because it's something, I'm not calling myself a professional writer or anything. I'm clearly not. But I do have my moments.
You know what you're doing, definitely.
I know what I'm doing, yes. I know how to look at a scenario and how the character would interact in said scenario.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't know how.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go around bashing them. It's a learning process.
Yeah, it is. It's especially hard to get into if you've never really written before, or if you've written exclusively your just like normal narrative stuff where you're not responding to other people. It can be kind of hard to wrap your head around that you're not the only one in this story.
Right.
Or, whatever.
And plus, that's another thing, how to be considerate of the other characters in said story. Now, I really should have thought this out more. Such a good topic.
Hey, I can go off on any number of aspects.
I know, that's why I want you on the show. I mean, if I drop the ball, you just swoop in like Moses.
Like Moses?
Yeah, because, just saves, passes it to Moses.
Okay, I'm picturing Moses playing basketball.
That was the whole point. No, but seriously,
Jordan to Moses, Moses to Pippin.
Pippin to Shaq, Shaq botches! Shaq.
Way to go, O'Neal.
O'Neal, who now plays for my hometown.
He still plays?
Yeah, with the Sacramento Kings now.
Huh. I honestly don't know basketball, at all. So.
My town actually has a game team, but we're not talking about them. We'll never talk about them.
How about that local sports team, huh?
Huh? Totally honest. But anyway, yeah, writing is so much fun. I honestly enjoy this fucking board so much.
Yeah, I definitely do too. It's like I'm also a manager on the board, and that part of it can sometimes be like, oh my god, shoot me in the fucking head.
Now explain to them your jobs as manager.
All right, I'll explain what my supposed jobs as manager. Okay. Aside from general peacekeeping and being an authoritarian figure, it's my job to update characters. At least for this roleplay board, we do have a system in place to determine powers and what you can do and whatnot, and you do that by getting XP. And pretty much my main job is just when people give me updates, I'm supposed to do them. There's also stuff like determining stuff behind the scenes, like the rules, the balance, like how much do we want this to cost, like is this person actually in trouble, that sort of thing. But overall, 90% of the time, it's just do updates.
Right. And character approval. Yes,
and character registration for new characters. I in my head, I lump that right in with updates.
Well, that's why I'm here, to help break that down so people can understand it more. I mean, you and me, we know this.
Yeah. It's
you
harder
say,
to,
updates.
It's hard to explain to people who don't know what we're talking about.
Right. Now, earlier you also mentioned canon characters and original characters.
Yes. I suppose that's not exactly common knowledge either what that means, huh?
Exactly.
All right. Do you want to explain what it means?
I can go ahead and go with original characters. Basically, original characters is pretty much, the title says it all. It is a character that you created yourself. You picked out the powers, you created the history for it, but it still has to fit within a certain parameters of the game board. There are rules you have to follow, which is one of Richie's jobs, is to make sure you follow the rules.
Exactly.
Like, for starters, you can't create an original character that has a power level of, I don't know, give me, let's say, Spider-Man. You can't start off as that strong. Or Juggernaut. I guess Juggernaut would be a better one, yeah.
He'd be a pretty good one, yeah.
You can't start off that strong, because Juggernaut is pretty much off the scales, correct?
Yeah, Juggernaut's, he's pretty high up there.
Pretty high, because he's Juggernaut, bitch. And my chair squeaks, Jesus Christ.
There you go.
Yeah, so you would have to start off your character, create a story. A lot of people, that's where some of the people, I'm not going to say names, but some people kind of drop the ball in that part of the character creation.
I'm guessing that's where I was supposed to add something in.
I just mind farted. Doing it live, folks. We're doing this live. Expect a lot of this, by the way.
I'll jump in regardless.
Thank you.
Because this is because you can make some roleplay, not necessarily just Marvel's roleplay, or Marvel roleplay, I guess, but some roleplay, every type of roleplay, basically, from fucking Dungeons and Dragons, it has you make your own character. That's actually pretty much the most common way of doing it. And right. A big problem a lot of people have is that they try to give their characters, a bunch of unique things to make them unique, when all it does is kind of drown out what your character is supposed to be. I've seen characters that are yeah, I'm a half-angel cyborg, bitten by a werewolf, descended by predators.
Raised by witches.
Yeah, stuff like that, okay, in small doses. It's okay to have your character have certain flavor, but your character should stand out by what they do, not what they are. It's pretty much everything that you've ever heard about, civil rights. It doesn't matter what you are, it matters what you do.
Right, which is also a huge cornerstone of creative writing.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I was kind of taking a drink there.
Sorry, no, it's okay. We're live.
Yeah. We can cut that. We can edit that.
Nope.
Is that edited yet?
Nope.
All right. But yeah, definitely with just creative writing in general, you want to make sure your story can stand on its own, not just by a bunch of like flimsy little it's like this, but this. Like that's one of the biggest things I ever heard about the biggest complaint I ever heard about that movie from a while back, Avatar, is it's dancing with wolves with aliens.
Yeah.
And now I've seen Avatar, and I don't mind it. I think it's a good movie. But yeah, like you can just break it down to that. And there are other aspects to it, certainly, but people get hung up on those big ones. Because if you can really take something and compare it to something else and just add one element, is it really original? But, maybe that's getting too deep into this.
Yeah. But no, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, it all falls in that category.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
Neither of us are professionals.
Yeah, you're going to hear that a lot. That's for damn sure. But now, as for the canon characters,
and
canon roughly. Oh, sorry.
Just one thing. Canon, spelled CANON, not canon like boom boom with two N's in the middle. It's just one N. I want to make that clear to everyone because every time I see someone write, "Oh, this is where canon characters go," and they write it with two N's in the middle, I want to shove them in a 2N cannon and fire them off into the distance so that they splatter against the rocks, because that's not how you spell it. They're two different words. They're fucking homonyms. Get over it. Continue.
Woo! Yeah, you can tell he's been doing this for a while, folks.
I like to rant on the internet.
It's cool. It's all good. But yeah, canon characters with one N.
One N. In the middle. I mean, there's still two N's overall.
Right. Well, yeah, one N in the middle. Basically, are characters that already exist. For example, your Wolverines, your Deadpools, your Spider-Mans, your Punishers. Iron Man. Your Incredible Hulks. Those characters have already been established. Now, on Marvel's, if you do pick a canon character, you can tweak the history a little bit.
There's a limit to what we allow. You can actually tweak it quite a bit. There are some canon characters we have on the site that are substantially different from their original forms. And in general, those are characters that aren't as popular. I remember one time we had somebody try to make Rogue. And we all know who Rogue is, right? The X-Men girl character. I speak to you, imaginary audience.
Both of them.
Yes, both of you. Now, somebody wanted to make this character, and I can't even remember the most of the origin. This might have been before I was even a manager. So this was a while ago.
Yeah.
The person wanted to make the character a guy.
Oh, crap. I remember that.
Yeah. And that was one of the few times that we've actually said no. It's just kind of firm, which is weird thinking back, because there's been a few times when Marvel has themselves reintroduced a character either in an alternate universe or in the same universe, but, as a different gender. But I think we all felt that Rogue was supposed to be a girl. A boy Rogue would just be kind of
weird.
It would just be off for the character. Someone would end up wanting to make a girl Rogue anyways. So,
yeah,
might as well just say, no, you can either make it a girl or not make it. Or just make a different character who happens to have the same powers and isn't Rogue.
Yeah, I mean, which Marvel has done.
Yes, it's not that, fuck. How many Spider characters are there?
Clones or original?
Fucking who cares? How many people have the word spider in front of man or woman or girl? It's almost worse than Superman. and all of his friends.
And pets.
And pets. I don't think there was ever a spider dog.
There was Spider Ham.
That doesn't count.
Once again, that was a separate character from a different universe.
Yeah, but I mean in the same universe.
Okay.
There's 4 Spider Women, and I'm pretty sure there's at least 3 Spider Men.
Yeah.
They could start their own spider civilization.
Yeah, it'd be a few generations before the gene pool got all clouded, but yeah.
It wouldn't last too long. There's plenty of radiation and mutantness going on there.
Plenty. No, wait, don't do that anymore because, radiation gives you cancer.
Oh, fuck them. This is old school sci-fi radiation, which was all bam, pow, the future is now. It can do anything.
Future is now.
This is the radiation that gave us Spider-Man and Godzilla. Damn it, science, you can't take that away from us.
And yes, Godzilla's going to be a different podcast.
Yes,
but we have a love for that rubber-bound lizard.
I'm pretty sure he's been in a Marvel-produced comic before. I'm almost certain.
Yes, matter of fact, I even brought up, not with you, but with one of the other admins, brought up actually bringing in Godzilla.
I think a couple people have, actually. It's weird to me.
Because in the final issue of Godzilla, he did fight the Avengers.
That's funny.
It was hilarious. But that's a
different story.
But yes, so they do allow some changes to be made. I think the craziest one we've ever seen was with Mystique.
Oh, right, yes. Okay, I know what you're talking about. A friend of ours remade Mystique. I thought this was pretty interesting. It was very different from the comics, but that's what made it interesting, is that Mystique was a mutant from back in, biblical times or something, and that she was actually,
a certain deity's mom?
She was Mary.
Yeah, not that Mary, the other Mary.
Yeah, yes, she was, Mary, the fucking, I don't know the Jesus terms. Madonna? Is that what she...
The Jesus terms.
Isn't that one of the terms for her or something?
Yeah, the Madonna, which I never understood.
Yeah, I don't either. Maybe it's Spanish.
I don't know. I'll ask Jesus when I see him.
All right. But yeah, and that was definitely a different one. Very interesting. And we don't mind when people want to put their own spin on the character and their history. It's just they got to make as long as the character there's certain fundamentals of certain characters that kind of need to stay,
Yeah, that's true. A prime example would be Thor.
Yeah, he's a Norse god. Keep it that way,
Matter of fact, John, who, oddly enough, Marvel's name is John.
I believe it is actually Yawn.
Yawn, because he's from over there.
Over there. Apparently, we haven't moved
I might have a picture pop up of what country he's from, but... over yonder.
Over yonder.
But he did a really good write-up for Thor.
Yeah.
Which followed the more traditional look for the god, not the, movie one with, what was the actor's name? Chris Eckerson? Hemsworth, yes, thank you.
Is that it? I could be wrong.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a good movie Thor, but this was the traditional Thor, big, huge, blonde beard, very realistic Norse armor, no wings inside of his helmet. It was Thor.
Yes, yeah.
And that was one of my favorites that aren't mine. We'll get to that a little bit.
Favorites that aren't mine.
Yes, we'll get into that in a little bit. But now, one thing that kind of sparked this was what you were saying earlier in our Skype chat about the sacrifices you have to make a lot of times when it comes to writing for role play.
Yeah, this actually just occurred to me, like, when we were kind of talking about this beforehand, is that there is there is a small difference between writing for roleplay and just writing. And I've never really been able to quantify it, but feel like this is the best way to put it, is that to roleplay properly, you have to really get in the mindset of your character. You have to try to roleplay your character, and you have to try to roleplay them reacting to a situation realistically as they would, not you. It's right there in the word, role play. You are playing a role. You're acting, almost. And the difference between that and writing is writing, at least some part of normal narrative writing, is that yes, although the characters do have a big important part in the plot, there is still the larger plot at hand. So sometimes, especially something you mentioned earlier, being considerate of other people's characters. Like, sometimes you do have to, I feel like you should have to make sacrifices out, like, you have to say, okay, I know what my character would do here, but for some reason or another, I have to figure out a way to make it so that things can still proceed in the story without me being a big muckabout.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess a situation that comes to mind here is that, like, I feel like we've role-played something similar to this before, and I've role-played something recently on the site itself, is that, like, a truth or dare situation, you know, like when your characters are involved in some stupid little situation like that, you know? And, because there was one point when I realized, oh, one of these would be really good for the story, like, long term, but one of these is realistically what my character would pick. I can't even remember what I ended up resolving there. I think I went for the one that was more stable long term. Like, it would lead to less drama.
No, actually, I think you went for the opposite.
Did I?
I know the thread you're talking about.
Yeah.
And yes, that's what each story is called. Each story is a thread.
Yes, it's a forum. We do keep some traditional forum terminology. There's no need to reinvent the wheel.
If it works, it works.
Exactly.
But yes, I do remember that. You and I talked about it, then I read your post, and yeah, you went with the exact opposite of what you told me you were going to go with.
Did I? I can't really remember. And I'm too lazy to check, so I'll take your word for it.
I liked it. I liked it. And like you said, it made for a better story.
Yes, like you had to make this balance between what you would do and what's best for the story. I feel like that's a good sign of a good writer. Maybe a great role player would just completely surrender to their character and do that, but I don't know. Like I feel like it's different for everybody, you know?
Yeah. Because at the end of the line, and the end of that particular story arc, what I like to do a lot of times is I'll go back and reread it.
Yeah.
Every post, everything, and I'll think about the overall story.
Yeah.
Because there's been some threads that have just been, my God, they were so damn good.
Yeah, definitely. There was, because we used to have a different site than the one we do now, and although some of the threads got migrated over, like they were just saved to the site under like a specific like forum or something. There was a few that I specifically saved onto my desktop because I was like, I don't want these to be gone, you know, like I don't want these to disappear from reality. So I made sure to save them because like they were good stories, you know, like regardless of whether, you know, they're old now, they don't matter so much, but they were good stories, and sometimes I still refer back to them because some of them are fundamental for my characters, you know?